Wife's shocking consequences after sleeping with her boss. I have been celibate for the last 4 years of my life. In those 4 years, I have not had sex with anyone but my 5 sisters. And before you ask, I'm not a fat slob who has no luck with women. A lot of people just call me handsome. I've got 6 feet, 183 centimeters, tall, abs, decent-sized dignity, a killer sense of humor, and a wife prettier than Ava Gardner. Yes, I have a wife. 4 years ago, I discovered that my wife was cheating on me. Why is she cheating on me, you ask? I have no idea, and to be completely honest, I don't give a damn. I'm 40 now. Yesterday, Amy, my youngest daughter, got married, and now I have no obligations left in this world. The only reason I tolerated a life of cuckoldry was for the sake of my 2 daughters, who deserved better than a single-parent family. Nothing had changed for me except sex. I was still as affectionate with my wife and daughter as I had ever been. I was more concerned with how to give my 2 favorites full-time parents. How did I manage to deny my wife sex for 4 long years? A medical miracle. I work as a research scientist for a federal agency, and I know of a drug that can cause erectile dysfunction effects and has no side effects. We use this drug to subdue violent sex offenders in custody. No, I'm not going to name this drug here or anywhere else. After all, it is a controlled drug. So as far as Kelly is concerned, I've had erectile dysfunction for the last 4 years, and it doesn't bother her much. She's quite happy playing house with her boss, Dennis. Today, after the in-laws left, I sat down at the table and summarized what needed to be done. I had already sold the cabin in the mountains and the ranch to give a cash gift to my oldest daughter, and what my wife didn't know, I had also sold the house we were living in and gave Amy a cash wedding gift yesterday. We had until the end of the month to turn the house over to the new owners. The money from the sale was deposited into an account Kelly and I shared, and the checks made out to Mandy and Amy were signed by both of us for sentimental reasons. Kelly didn't ask me where the money came from, as she had little interest in our finances. All she knew about our finances was that she had a credit card with a large amount of money that was paid off in full on the 1st of each month. In her eyes, we were very rich. We were very rich indeed, until I decided to become poor. For the past 4 years, I had been systematically transferring all of our money into the girls' names, and while none of my daughters would have to worry about their future, I was broke. I had already cashed out my 401k and spent every penny of it on Amy's wedding. In short, I was legally broke without having done anything illegal. After her brother's visit, Kelly rushed off somewhere to do her own thing, and I knew exactly where. She was going to room 102 of the Holiday Inn to meet her lover. I knew they were planning to spend the entire day there, and she was supposed to return in the evening, around 5. That wasn't going to happen. We would meet in half an hour. I got into my car, which was pretty much all I had, and drove to the Holiday Inn. Calmly, I knocked on the door of room 102. The door was opened by Dennis, who was stunned to see me instead of his expected room delivery. I walked in, and he was alone in the room. Taking a seat on the couch, I stared at him. There was no word between us yet. I had a simple briefcase in my hands and nothing else. Kelly came out of the bathroom in her teddy and found me on the couch and Dennis sitting with his arms around his head on the bed. Did I tell you that Dennis worked for his father-in-law and the house, car, and everything that mattered was in either the company name or his wife's name? Come to think of it, in the event of a divorce, he'd be broke too, which was why he clutched his head with his hands. Kelly looked defiantly into my eyes. I'm sorry you found out. I should have done something about it as soon as I found out we were never going to have sex again. Dennis means nothing to me other than infatuation, and he knows it. He is a gentleman and has never mocked you or spoken lightly of you. He knows the only reason I'm with him is because of your condition. She had a knack for saying the right thing at the right time. But that's what you expect from a secretary, isn't it? Quick thinking when faced with a challenge the boss wanted to dodge. What's the time? I asked. 3 years. Have you noticed any changes in me in those 3 years? I still love you as much as I did when you were capable of having sex. I'm sure I'm still capable of having sex, I said, to which she replied that she didn't know if just body caressing was enough for her as sex. Okay, let's imagine a dimly lit bedroom, a few candles and quiet music. We are both without clothes. I am lying beside you, looking into your eyes and telling you how beautiful you are, how you make me complete, and how my soul has been naked before you since the day we met. I make love to you with enthusiasm and tenderness. That's the first scenario, and this hotel room is the second. Which would you choose? Of course, the first scenario with you. Then why are you here? I hadn't thought about it, and if you're so smart to suggest it now, why didn't you suggest it before I was disappointed enough to start hanging out with Dennis? Because, my dear, before you got involved with Dennis, I didn't need the script. In fact, I don't need it now. With those words, I opened my briefcase and pulled out prosecution exhibit number 1, a picture of me getting excited and wearing the Gucci hat she'd bought a week ago to wear to Amy's wedding. Sure, I looked funny in a woman's hat with excitement, but not as funny as she did when she saw the picture. When did that problem go away? Oh, it's still a problem. Oh, you mean the horniness problem. It never existed. I faked it with a drug I know. I stopped taking it a couple weeks ago. Turning to Dennis, I spoke to him for the first time in 4 years. I hope you're not bored. I'll be out of here in half an hour and then she'll be all yours. Then I turned to Kelly, who by this point was totally confused. So, let's talk about our problem. I think this is where I will state the events that led to our problem. My problem was that I found out that my wife was cheating on me. I found out 4 years and 2 months ago. Then you had a problem, and your problem was that your husband suddenly became disinterested in his wife in bed. Then I had a problem, and my problem was that my wife didn't care enough about me to consider it a problem that I was. But that's all in the past. I solved the biggest of my problems by taking my medication. I wanted to be away from you sexually while we were still together, and I had to stay with you until the girls got married. They are now married, and my problems were resolved yesterday by my attorney drafting the divorce papers. Now we get to your problem. How are you going to support yourself on the meager salary you get? I'm broke, and I'm going to move to India after the divorce. I'm sure I can find a job there thanks to the technology boom. Then I turned to Dennis again. You must be feeling left out by all these problems I'm telling you about here. However, I'm in a pretty benign mood today, so I'll give you a problem too. Just so you don't feel left out. I'm not mad at you for giving me horns, nor am I a vindictive asshole to try to hurt you on purpose. The detective agency I used to gather evidence for the divorce is Paul Drake Detectives. I had no idea Paul was your brother-in-law. He talked to your wife about it a week ago. I got a message from your wife that your house keys don't work. Well, now you got your own problem. Dennis was at a loss for words. He was too broken to yell at me or threaten me. As for Kelly, she just sat in the corner and looked at me with an expression of disbelief and tears in her eyes. One last thing. You'll have to move out of the house by the end of the month. I can't thank you enough for offering to sell it to make gifts for our precious daughters. I'm sure they won't have too many problems in their lives thanks to this generosity of Mom and Dad. Have a wonderful life. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.